Good afternoon. The political consultations in trilateral format, Romania, the Republic of Moldova, Ukraine, at the level of Minister of Foreign Affairs and Minister of Defense, ended. I would like to request your attention for the signing of the joint statement of the Ministers of Foreign Affairs and Ministers of Defense of Romania, the Republic of Moldova, and Ukraine. Firstly, I will invite the Ministers of Defense. On behalf of Romania, Mr. Angel Tâlvăr. On behalf of the Republic of Moldova, Mr. Anatolie Nosatei. On behalf of Ukraine, Mr. Oleksiy Reznikov. Bună ziua! Runda de consultări politice în format trilateral România, Republica Moldova, Ucraina, la nivel de ministri ai afacerilor externe și ministri ai apărării, s-a încheiat. Are loc semnarea declarației comune a ministrilor afacerilor externe și ministrilor apărării ai României, Republicii Moldova și Ucrainei. Invit mai întâi ministrii apărării să semneze declarația. Din partea României, domnul Angel Tâlvăr. Din partea Republicii Moldova, domnul Anatolie Nosatei. Din partea Ucrainei, domnul Oleksiy Reznikov. I invite now the Ministers of Foreign Affairs to sign the declaration. On behalf of Romania, His Excellency Mr. Bogdan Aurescu. On behalf of the Republic of Moldova, His Excellency Mr. Nicu Popescu. On behalf of Ukraine, Mrs. Emin Japarova. Invit acum miniștrii de externe să semneze declarația. Din partea României, Excelența sa, domnul Bogdan Aurescu. Din partea Republicii Moldova, Excelența sa, domnul Nicu Popescu. Din partea Ucrainei, doamna Emin Japarova. And now I kindly invite the ministers to take a photo with a joint statement, and then we will proceed with the press statement. Invit acum pe miniștri să facă o fotografie cu declarația comună, urmând ca apoi să înceapă declarațiile de presă.
Noi, ministrii de externe și colegii de la apărare.
Your Excellency, Minister Aurescu, you have the floor.
Good afternoon. We hosted today the second trilateral meeting between Romania, the Republic of Moldova and Ukraine at the level of Ministers of Foreign Affairs with the attendance of our colleagues from the three countries. The topic being, as I already announced, the approach of security matters pertaining to the three countries. From the very beginning, I'd like to thank my colleagues, the Ministers of Foreign Affairs and the Ministers of Defense, for very consistent talks in this format. and for their presence to Bucharest. As you know, Minister Kuleba couldn't attend this meeting today for very serious reasons related to the war in Ukraine and to the recent discoveries of terrible crimes perpetrated by Russia against Ukrainian prisoners of war. Romania condemns the atrocities caused by Russia in Ukraine and urges that every guilty entity is punished accordingly. We signed today a very important joint statement, which is the very first document to sign within the Romania, Republic of Moldova, Ukraine trilateral. This is an important document pertaining to security matters, which shall be publicized in the moments to come. It is related to the development of our relationship in terms of politics, economy, infrastructure, defense, security, culture. And this joint statement is a proof that we have similar views with respect to a stable and secure Black Sea. We also express our willingness to pursue our cooperation and to improve it with respect to fighting against the effects of the Russian war in Ukraine. We also try to fight Russian propaganda and disinformation, and we also want to become more resilient together. We also commit to be sovereign and to ensure the integrity and territorial unity of both Ukraine and the Republic of Moldova. We utter once more that the Black Sea is a strategic territory for the security of the entire region and for the Euro-Atlantic area. We also emphasize the importance for both the Republic of Moldova and Ukraine to be allowed this year to initiate the negotiations for becoming full right EU members, and we agree with the peace proposal made by President Zelensky, and we also commit ourselves to supporting Ukraine. We consider once more that everyone that perpetrated crimes in Ukraine should be punished, and we all support this trilateral relationship as well as our cooperation in this format. By this joint statement, we decided that the following trilateral meeting to be organized during the months to come to discuss cooperation and infrastructure in terms of energy. I remind you that this trilateral format was launched on the 15th of September 2022 on the initiative of Romania during a meeting in Odessa. We focused then on energy matters, on strengthening the interconnections among the three countries. And I remind you, this was only 1 month before the time when the Russian Federation bombed the critical energy infrastructure in Ukraine. This is a proof that we established our means to fight this event 1 month in advance. For 3 months, Romania has provided almost 80 to 90% of the necessary electricity for Ukraine and for the Republic of Moldova. We discussed regional security under the circumstances of the aggression perpetrated by Russia in Ukraine, and this is also the core of the discussions of the Black Sea Conference under the aegis of Bucharest, the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and the Ministry of Defense with the Ministry of Defense of the Republic of Moldova. During this format, we also discussed about our support for Ukraine and Moldova. We gave information about the steps we took to support both organizations in this respect, that is to increase the funding to strengthen the defense capacity of both countries by donations that Romania has been making, by enabling the European Peace Facility, which is very useful to Ukraine right now, yet which is also intended to support the resilience of the Republic of Moldova. We also discussed about the EU mission to be soon launched in the Republic of Moldova, an important milestone to support resilience and fighting capacities in Moldova. We discussed about the initiative proposed in February to create a sanctioning regime against the constitutional order of the Republic of Moldova, and we take quick steps towards adopting such sanctions. We also discussed, of course, about the long-term conflicts in the region, with an emphasis on the Transnistrian file, wishing this topic to become permanent on the EU agenda. I managed to introduce this topic on the foreign affairs agenda over the past years, and we managed to resume this topic for soon to be organized meeting. We discussed about strengthening the trilateral work towards common joint resilience, because we are all interconnected. We cannot witness an evolution of the Ukrainian conflict without any effect on the regional and Euro-Atlantic security, as well as on the security of the Republic of Moldova. Yet what's the most important, and this is the main message we want to convey today during our talks and during the Black Sea Security Conference, is that neither Ukraine nor the Republic of Moldova are by themselves. We're all together, we stand by them, and we're all liable in front of them individually and at the EU level. We'll keep being by their side as long as necessary. Our colleagues from Chisinau and our colleagues from Kiev present here today, as well as Mr. Kuleba, during the phone conversation we had yesterday, they all supported and thanked us for the support that we have been providing to Ukraine through all the means. As a stability pillar and as a stability provider in the region, Romania shall pursue its role to support the vulnerable states because of the Russian pressure. We're persuaded that this trilateral format will bring added value for us all, and we hope this trend will continue as we provided in our trilateral statement, that we may talk about security, energy, infrastructure, connectivity, or any other topic of high interest for the three countries. Thank you again, dear colleagues, for being here in Bucharest for a very useful conversation in this format. After we conclude the discussions, we'll all go to the military palace to conclude the discussions about the Black Sea security.
Dear Bogdan, I'm very happy to be here in Bucharest with you and Emin and the ministers of defense, our colleagues from our countries, and we attend also the conference on the Black Sea security. And I want to congratulate you and thank you for the organization of this conference and of this trilateral. In September last year, we had the first meeting of the trilateral meetings in Odessa, when we talked about the cooperation of our countries in the field of energy and foreign policy. And today, our dialogue is even more enhanced through this substantial discussion on security and defense matters. The regional situation that is affected and impacted and caused by the brutal aggression of Russia against Ukraine, of course, outlined even more the importance of the Black Sea region. In this dramatic regional context, the Republic of Moldova is supporting Ukraine against this aggression. We repeat our consistent standpoint to support the sovereignty and territorial integrity of Ukraine. Moldova is firmly condemning the war, the unjustified war caused by the Russian Federation, and we think that all the crimes and atrocities committed in Ukraine should be investigated, and the people involved have to answer for their acts according to the international law. This war has drastically affected the entire European continent and the Republic of Moldova. The negative impact of this war on our country is felt by each citizen of Moldova in each field, economically, energetically, socially, and humanitarily. Each citizen of the Republic of Moldova is negatively affected by Russia's aggression against Ukraine. At the same time, we talked about the fact that the Republic of Moldova continues to be a target for the actions and hybrid attempts to destabilize our country initiated by the oligarchs in cooperation and under the coordination of the Russian Federation. Today we also talked about the importance of the transport routes and the importance of transport in our region, which is very important for the global food security, and we all agreed that we have to do everything possible to facilitate exports of food products and grains from Ukraine to the global market. We underline the fact that the Republic of Moldova is not threatened militarily. This is due to the resilience capacity of the Ukrainian state and Ukrainian army, and this allows us to keep peace and stability. And I want to thank to each citizen of Moldova for the fact that Ukraine is defending us against any destabilization and aggression. This being said, the Republic of Moldova continues to face hybrid attempts for destabilization, energy and political pressures, disinformation, cyber attacks, and so on. And we can face them. The government, President Maia Sandu, everybody is capable to keep peace and calm in our country in spite of the threats that come to us, and we are not alone in that. We have the support of our European partners, of Romania, of Ukraine, and of other international states and organizations, and even EU and NATO that support security and stability. We've discussed about joining the EU. In these days, Republic of Moldova is preparing our contribution to the report of the EU, which will be published in October, on our progress on joining the EU. We had a discussion with our friends from Ukraine who are going through the same exercise, and our goal is that at the end of this year, Republic of Moldova will receive a signal by which the EU will show the opening of the negotiations to join the EU. We also discussed the preparation of the European Political Community Summit. We will have almost 50 participating states who will declare their open support to our European aspirations, but also for peace and security for our country. Today, we've discussed about the importance discussions to have bilateral and trilateral cooperation in many fields. Recently, we have the train Chisinau-Kyiv, which facilitates traffic between our countries. Last year, together with Ukraine, we managed to connect to the European continental energy system, which allowed us last year and this year to maintain lights on as much as possible in Ukraine and Moldova. And with this in connection, we managed to have some progress. I want to thank my colleagues and friends from Ukraine and Romania for their entire support for Moldova in the recent months when it comes to energy, for energy storage, but also for many other support measures. Of course, in the future, we want to accelerate and continue these projects that interconnect our countries. We want to modernize the bridges we have with Romania. We want to build new bridges. We want to have new interconnection lines, power lines. So we have many projects, and even these days we are going to a new stage where we are going to launch a coordinated control at the border between Moldova and Romania, which will facilitate the movement of goods and people. So, dear Bogdan, thank you once again for your warm welcome and for hosting this event, but also for Romanians and your support for Republic of Moldova and for Ukraine in our journey to join the EU, which will enable us to come back to a state of peace and security in our European continent. Thank you very much, and thank you for the substantial discussions we had yesterday in the evening.
Thank you, dear Bogdan, dear Nico, dear friends and colleagues. Let me first of all reiterate greetings on behalf of my Minister Kuleba, who could not come in person, but his heart is with us. Unfortunately, my country and Ukrainian people are surviving yet another shock after watching how Russian soldiers decapitated Ukrainian soldiers while he was alive, and he was screaming out, "It hurts, it hurts." Yes, it hurts. It hurts to know that the war is still ongoing, bleeding pain in the middle of Europe and trauma. It hurts to know that thousands of square kilometers of Ukraine have been under mines. It hurts to know that 10,000 of Ukrainian people have been killed. It hurts to know that 7 million of Ukrainian people became eternally displaced persons, resettling from their territories and losing homes. It hurts to know that 8 million of Ukrainians left the country and abandoned and now rummaging all over the Europe as well as in Moldova and Romania, but we're grateful for hosting our people. It hurts to know that these disasters and challenges that we see, and while it's happening and while Russia has been committing war crimes, it hurts to see how Russia has been presiding at the Security Council of the United Nations. But we are happy to state that cooperation with our partners and neighboring states is to that extent that we feel it in Kyiv, that the support is with us and it gives us energy to keep on fighting. What I want to say that this let's say, meeting in the triangle format is the second one, and we hope to have another round of the meeting with the ministries and ministers of infrastructure and energy in the upcoming month. We're now preparing for the London Conference of Recovery with specific projects that would dedicated to energy and infrastructure. So I hope that another round of meeting both with Moldova and Romania would be successful and fruitful. We went through a very, let's say, wide range of issues dedicated to security, and it is not a coincidence that we have it in Bucharest. And those issues of security have been discussed with regards to the Crimea platform and the Black Sea Security Conference. And here, my gratitude goes to Romania for hosting the first inaugural Black Sea Security Conference, because as we say in Ukraine, everything started from Crimea and everything should be resolved in Crimea. The Crimea lesson learned us that the appeasement language Putin takes as weakness. So the suggestion that comes from Ukraine and has been supported by Romania and Moldova and many other countries, that we have to be a bit more decisive when it comes to isolation of Russia, sanctioning of Russia, when it comes to the justice. And one of the issues that we discussed today during our lunch was the justice issue. You know that Ukraine has been initiating the special tribunal on the crime of aggression, which we believe is a mother of crimes, and without punishing the Russian leadership, we cannot speak about accountability of Russia. We believe that the compensation mechanism should be also performed, while one day I hope that Russian people will be mourning and accepting the reality that Russian leadership supported and shared by Russian people committed the war crimes against Ukrainian people. We also went through the EU integration of Ukraine and Moldova. This is a common foreign policy goal. We are now at the final stage of completing the approximation of our legislation, be it the media issues, be it national minorities, be it the issue of anti-corruption legislation. We are very open to still keep on working with the Venice Convention Commission. We believe that the assessment of the European Commission after Ukraine follow these 7 criteria would be positive, and we might start the entrance negotiation on the access by the end of the year. And in Ukraine, there is a strong feeling that the EU membership of Ukraine is only a matter of time. As well as with NATO, the upcoming Vilnius summit, we believe, should not only open the door for Ukraine, but also show the corridor and a real perspective, and something that we can already do and perform as a common activities and efforts. We also focused on the regional cooperation. You know, we see that the multilateral diplomacy has been under crisis. We can clearly see it in Geneva, in New York, in Vienna and other capitals of international organizations, but we are very strong in pushing regional alliances. We did so with Lublin Triangle, we did so with the Crimea Platform. Nobody believed in the Crimea Platform, but today it is the platform that unites 60 countries and international organizations, and today we manifest the results of the Crimea Platform here in Bucharest. So I think that this trilateral meeting, which is yet another regional cooperation that was invented by Romania and Minister Aurescu, is been actively supported by Ukraine, and we hope that many other issues would be focused and will be envisaged during the next meetings. I thank you.
Thank you so much. So, colleagues from Defense, please.
Mulțumesc, domnilor miniștri, doamnelor și domnilor. Mă bucur că am avut astăzi ocazia să particip alături de domnul ministru Aurescu la o reuniune trilaterală în premieră.
In a trilateral meeting with our partners from Ukraine and Republic of Moldova. An important meeting in terms of the topics we discussed, but also when it comes to the message it conveys. I think it's even more important as we organize today in Bucharest the first edition of the Black Sea Security Conference under the umbrella of the Crimea International Platform. We want to strengthen the region, and through our meeting today we continue our bilateral meetings in terms of defense with both defense ministers. So this trilateral meeting being a natural consequence of the cooperation between our countries, given the security developments in the region. The current context is very dynamic, and it has direct and indirect impact on our countries. So at bilateral and trilateral level, we discussed about the security military situation in Ukraine and the developments in the Black Sea region. Russia's aggression war against Ukraine confirmed that Russia is the most significant and direct threat to the Euro-Atlantic security and European and regional security. Of course, in our neighborhood, we have a brutal invasion that generated the loss of many lives and which continues to generate instability and insecurity in the region, but even farther away. In this entire equation, of course, we see the strategic importance of the Black Sea that our country has constantly emphasized in bilateral and multilateral meetings since 2014 when Crimea was illegally attached. During the meeting, we discussed about the status and perspectives in the field of defense, focusing on what we can do more together in order to increase resilience and strengthen the defense capacities. We reiterated our commitment to the independence, sovereignty, and territorial integrity of Ukraine, but also for the solidarity with the Ukrainian people in these dramatic times. We talked about the projects of EU and NATO, our country being an active contributor to the partnerships dedicated to Ukraine and Republic of Moldova. We reviewed them and we agreed to maintain the same consistency of the coordination for these projects. In the EU context, I ensured my counterparts of our support to irreversibly connect to the European space. Our country has supported the measures of the European Peace Facility that Chișinău and Kiev are benefiting from. This is also reflected in the joint statement of the ministers that we signed at the end of the meeting, repeating thus our strong and consistent messages on condemning the war of Russia against Ukraine with a brutal impact in Ukraine, but also when it comes to hybrid tools in Moldova. At the end, I want to congratulate you once again for the successful meetings we had, and I want to ensure our partners of our support in bilateral and multilateral formats.
The floor is yours.
Thank you. Dear ladies and gentlemen, today's trilateral meeting is vitally important in the context of strengthening good neighborly relations between our countries. Ukraine, Moldova, and Romania share not only common borders and history. What is even more important, we share a common vision of our foreign policy course to the democratic European family, common European families and values. We also share common threats, such as the Russia hybrid war against Moldova and the full-scale war against Ukraine, which threatens all the Azov Black Sea region states. Ukrainian side is sincerely grateful to our neighbors for their political, practical support and for their solidarity during our fight against the aggressor. In our turn, we are ready to share practical experience in repelling armed aggressions and provide recommendations to our partners on ways to improve the defense sector in case Russia's aggressive encroachments on the territorial integrity and independence of other states. And there is a long and hard work ahead for our countries to restore security in the Azov Black Sea region. But being united, shoulder to shoulder, we will ensure peace, stable future and prosperity for the peoples of our countries and return of the world to a rule-based international order. We will win together.
Thank you, Alexei. Anatolie, e rândul tău.
Stimați domnilor miniștri, onorată audiență, doamnelor și domnilor, folosesc acest prilej să le mulțumesc colegilor mei, ministrul Tâlvar și ministrul Reznikov, și onoraților miniștri de externe,
Ministers of Foreign Affairs for the discussions we've been having today about the very important security-related matters we all face after the unjustified war run by Russia and Ukraine. As the Vice Minister Nicu Popescu, the Republic of Moldova keeps supporting Ukraine to preserve its territorial integrity and sovereignty within its internationally recognized borders. We also support Ukraine in preserving its rule of law and its international partnerships. In this respect, we want to pay a tribute and to ensure you that we're all very grateful to the sacrifices of the Ukrainian people. We'll keep providing humanitarian aid to Ukraine and to support the Ukrainian citizens who have fled to the Republic of Moldova. And I also support my country's commitment to support Ukraine after this war. The Republic of Moldova is also exposed to military risks as the Russian missiles transgresses our airspace. We continuously monitor and surveil the security situation in the Transnistria area, in the security area, and in the geographical proximity of the Republic of Moldova. The situation is still calm yet volatile, and there are some unpredictable elements that worry us. We meanwhile want to warn you that some subversive actions are being taken in our country, and they are of nature of a hybrid war. This puts additional pressure to the security system of our country. Yet, the government of the Republic of Moldova is still committed to ensure the security of the population and to strengthen the national resilience. In this respect, the Moldovan authorities have committed proactively to provide their own investments in partnerships, multilateral and bilateral, and to provide enhanced security for Ukraine. We also thank our strategic partner, Romania, for their bilateral and multilateral support. To conclude, it's just obvious for us that the EU integrity, our integration and the strengthened security in the area will bring us opportunities and to support the challenges.
Have a nice day.